number of periods, or typically days divided by 365. Okay. So if we do a 3-month forward, that is typically 91 days, 13 weeks, and APR equals, let's say, 3%. No, that shouldn't be. It should be 365 over days. I'm sorry. So the actual interest rate that you pay over 91 days is 0.7479%. That's because of the interest rate conventions. So let's kind of have our inputs. Uh, this is a template. There is nothing you can do on this sheet other than to make a copy of itself. Those of you who took my classes before have seen this. Just click on this black plus button. It basically creates a copy of it, but it's not protected anymore. Let's call this forward rate computation. Now, I'm going to have some inputs. What are my inputs? Spot rate. So let's do this. I'm going to have maturity. I'm going to have domestic rate. I'm going to have uh, foreign rate. By the way, this green plus button adds an input to the table. Okay. If you want to delete a certain input, be on that row and delete it. Okay. This recycle button deletes exactly that row. If you want to add, it can be on any row. And I'm going to call this fair market forwards. These are potential inputs, potential options, and I have 3 of them here. I need only one. APR or year or less, shorter or longer than a year. I'm going to revise that, but these are nice little things. The way I set this up, if I double click on that cell, it changes its thing. So if this is a green check mark, I'm going to call this if that's equal to 1. I'm going to call this use APR, otherwise use year. And if I'm using APR, this maturity is going to be if this is equal to 1 days, otherwise years. Okay. So let's enter our spot rates, 142.65, 91 days. Domestic rate is, of course, I'm going to change the format of these things. Why? Because I like it that way. Now I'm going to calculate the forwards depending upon what I'm using. Let me first just do days version, spot times 1 plus the forward interest rate. So I'm going to take the domestic rate, I'm sorry, forward rate times days divided by 365 divided by 1 plus domestic rate times and that should not be surprising. Okay, this is for 91 days, but I also want to make it flexible for myself. If I'm using maturity is less than a year, I'm going to use APR, so that's my formula. Alternatively, my interest rates are effective annual rates, so that means I'm going to take the spot rate times 1 plus the foreign rate raised to the power number of years. I'm going to make sure I have the right parentheses. 1 plus the domestic rate raised to the power number of years. And of course, it's not for 91 years. Let's say 2 years, right? Or, just 1 year. We already know the answer for the 1 year. I'm going to give you guys this Excel sheet, so if you couldn't necessarily follow the formula, you can always look at it. Now I have a nice little template. If I want the 3-month forward rate, let's find the 3-month rates, bond markets, bonds. 3-month US is 499.1. Oops. 3-month Japanese is 0.09%. So it's going to be 142.63. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I said 1 day. That's 1 day forwards, 91 day forward. All right. If you want to do 6 months, 182. We don't have the 6-month rate for yen, but let's assume it's 0.2%. And for US, it's, where is it? 468, and so on. All right. You can also use this for some other purposes, but we're gonna do that sometime on Thursday. On Thursday, we're gonna start chapter 6, which is using futures and options to manage foreign exchange risk. Futures are essentially exchange traded forward contracts. Yes. Yes, I will. Yeah. Yeah. And sometime tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to assign you guys a homework assignment based on chapter 5. Basically, it will be spot, cross, and forwards and all that sort of stuff. But it shouldn't be that difficult to figure out given all the templates we have. I'll see you guys Thursday. I haven't finalized your groups, but I'll post that before I post the homework.